In this video, I want to talk about our holistic approach to customer or client experience and the transformation that we um, help to facilitate for our customers. I call the people that we work with customers. Some people within our organization call them client because we're a consultancy. Um, in consultancy, often refer to the people you work with as clients. So I may use the word customer or client. They're interchangeable, but I like to call the people we work with customers because I think when you have a customer, you tend to appreciate better that customer service relationship because we consider ourselves a service firm. So, I'm going to be talking about a holistic approach that we use to help our clients to experience the transformation. And yes, we are a construction contract consultancy, but it doesn't mean that we don't provide a transformation to our clients, which is why we are called Haywood Commercial because we are not simply a legal advisory firm. We do so much more than that. And the value that we bring comes from the fact that not only are we lawyers and understand the legal implication of things, but having worked on major projects, having sat on site, having, done the PPE, been out in the site office, worked on the deals, see the projects, see the contracts as they play out in the site office on the site, it means that we have an advantage of seeing the contract um, dance, as I like to say, on the side to see how it works in practice. We're not just sat, in some shiny city office or West End office, drafting up standard forms. No, we know firsthand the importance of ensuring that our contracts capture the relationship, capture the intention, and capture the complexity of the projects. And we help our clients do so much more than just understand their contracts. We add insights, we identify those value levers that we can leverage to pull the value out of the contracts, to improve cash flow, to improve the profit margins, and ultimately to have clarity around those payment terms and what it is that you need to do, how you do it, how you satisfy those terms, just to be able to know with some amount of certainty how much you can expect from this project each month. And that is so important on a construction project. And so I might have digressed a little bit, but all that feeds into the approach that we bring and the transformation that we offer to our clients. So you can consider this our client journey map. I That's the term that tends to be used, business lingo. But let's dive into it. So when we start working with a customer and our customers we we tend to build a long-term relationship with our customers, and our customers keep coming back to us and again. We have 100% repeat business. And if you check our business model is we offer a subscription model where you, you pay a monthly fee or an annual fee. And essentially, we are your legal concierge, having to do with everything construction contracts. And so it means then that we understand your business. We get to understand your business on an intimate level because we're not just dealing with one contract. We're dealing with many contracts on behalf of the business. So we start understanding their values. We start understanding, the the things that they will not compromise on. We start understanding how our customers work. We start understanding the value addition that they add to the market. We just start understanding so much about their businesses that it enhances the level of support and value that we can add to the business. And we, are setting up some systems, and I'm smiling because I'm happy. We are setting up systems and processes to ensure that we're able to capture that value even more so that we can be proactive instead of reactive, and being able to have better benchmarks and be able to anticipate certain things so we can really just guide and add value to our customers. I'm very happy about that. But then what it means is that when a customer comes to us, that initial relationship is started. We we follow this process of helping them and us to figure out where they are and this establishes our starting point. And then we move into where do they want to be, and we set the aspirations and the purpose. And then we jump to how do we get there, and we do that by innovation and implementation, which is why if you watch my previous video, innovation and purpose and all of that was so important. um it was an important element we like to share with our potential clients. So as I said in that video, everything ties from those elements or values into everything that we do. And so we want to get our clients from A to B. Like we always say, it's very simple just to say we get them from A to B. But we do that through a process of establishing the starting point, knowing, where they're what is this project about, what is this contract, how do they normally contract, um, what are some of the lessons that they've learned over the years, or from, let's say, the last three projects, the last three contracts, how they normally amend or draft or negotiate their contract. We just need to understand where they are right now, their starting point. Do they have a playbook, for example? Do they have templates? Do they have best practices? Do they have data showing how their contracts work in real life? How has their contracting strategy worked for them? You know, their profit margins, their cash flow. It really requires us to dive deep with our clients to understand just where they are starting. And then once that is done, and that's through a series of meetings and back and forth email and meetings as well, and just that onboarding process. And um also, because in many cases the first time that the client seeks us out, or they're looking for this type of help, is when a contract has landed and they need some help. So at that point we're also learning, because they have a contract in flight right now that needs to be dealt with, and through that process we're learning about their starting point as well. And then from there, we go and we set the aspiration and the purpose. So we're looking at what do they want to achieve with this contract? What do they want to achieve with this project? What are their financial targets, for example? Because we want, at this stage, is when we're trying to set up alignment between the business or the organization and the um, the project or the contract that is in flight, for example. Um, so this is where we try to go through all of that, and then from there we come up with the contract strategy, or the tactics. We come up with maybe a playbook. Um, we may come up with, if there's a contract in flight, maybe a contract report. If it's negotiation, we come up with the strategy for the negotiation, and we eventually start coming up with how the actions that we're going to take. How do we then move from that aspiration and purpose stage what are the things that we're going to do, what are the things that we're going to do differently, because innovation is really about doing things differently. Innovation is not just about technology like an app or some system that you buy, online, like innovate. That's not what innovation is about. Innovation is also about doing things a little bit differently, improving, innovating what you are already doing it and making it better, more rigorous, more fit for your purpose, so that you can do things a lot better. Save time, save waste, save, human capital, and all of that stuff. So this is how we tend to start, once we've had that initial meeting and the client wants to come on board with us. Then we move on to this phase of, it's like gathering intelligence, for example, that you may think of it that way. And then we move into our framework and philosophy. So I've sh- sharing this here with you. This is the most intimate details of our organization, and this is a framework and philosophy that I've come up with, and it has guided my life. And we use this within Haywood Commercial to guide Haywood Commercial as well, and to guide our growth. And this is the reason why we have been growing, improving, and really starting to make our mark in the industry. And it spreads out like this. So we take this, and I'm going to focus on one part of this journey, and that is innovate and implement. So to innovate and implement, we take the utter part of our framework and philosophy, and we use that to come up with the just, I would say, the the steps and the strategy and the tactics. We come up with the way. It shows us the way. I like to think of it as the yellow brick road, with Dorothy. But it shows us the way that we, or the path that we are going to take to get to that point B. That's essentially what it is. And so it has 6 points, and we start focusing on that. So we first look at the power, and that is the power of the organization. What is the balance of power that they hold, and it may be the value that they bring, it may be the USP, the position in the market. For example, quite a few of our customers or clients are specialist contractors, and they specialize in only this thing, this one thing, and they're absolutely great in that one thing. And we've had clients where uh, they may be like one of three in the country able to do this thing, especially with our rail and transportation specialist clients. And so we look at what's their power, because we want to leverage that power. And then and this is in no set order, I'm just running through them. And then we look at the strategy. We come up with a strategy that we're going to use. And strategy is really about, how do you win? Why should you win? That's your strategy. Why should you win? And then we look at implementation. What are the steps we're going to take, maybe the tactics that we're going to use, and the mindset. Now, with the mindset, I believe that every organization, just like a person, because as you know, it's a legal entity, it's like a person, has a mindset and a paradigm, and this includes the company's culture. And so we look at what is the mindset of the organization, what is the mindset of the CEO, and how that will feed into the implementation. Are they open to innovation? Do they have a growth mindset? What's their outlook on, for example, we go to a negotiation, and it's a hard negotiation. Are they the type of client who's going to just fold, you know, or the type of client who's going to stand firm that if this contract is not balanced, we are going to get it as close to balance as possible, and we're willing to walk the tightrope to get to that point. That's a mindset. And then we look at the enablers, and these may be systems and processes that we're going to use to help us to bed down this innovation and the implementation. And then we look at the enablers, and this will be like the systems and the processes, excuse me, that we need to, maybe create or to collate, because in many cases the company already have a process that they're using, or even a simple system that they're using, and but it may not be written down. Like the process may not be written down, and then we may help them to write it down, or we may just help them to come up with a better process. So we've worked with specialist contractors, for example, in the rail and transportation industry, where we came in and helped them to simplify their contracting process. So from getting the contract up and ready, putting it up on the system, you know completing the contract, to getting sign off, getting it to the other party, to negotiation data, used to take a long time, unreasonably so. It was not uncommon for it to take, let's say, 3 months, 6 months, to to just the process of getting it up, getting the information, sending it to the other party, negotiation, to agreement, to sign off, was a long process. And we were able to come in and document that process and then improve the process. um because if for example in your organization you have authorized persons who can sign the document, and if they're always traveling and they're the only ones who can sign the document, then if they are in the office, let's say once a month, and also your policy is wet signature, so they have to physically be there to sign, then you're waiting like a month for that person to come in the office to sign. If they travel a lot doing marketing, or stuff like that, it can really slow down the process. So for example, having more than one authorized person, a simple thing like that, you would be surprised. And then we move to people, and people may be the stakeholders. Who are the people that we need, or that you need to get buy-in from? People may be your employees, your consultants, your contractors, and we use all of this to come up with our path to get to point B. And so this is how we innovate and implement. And what does all of this mean in real life? It means that if a client comes to us and says, a client may come to us with a contract in flight. And what I mean is they have a draft contract. They may have put in a tender, for example. One, they never looked at the contract. They have this contract. I know they need to get some advice. Or they may be just selected to deliver something. They may be the only one who can deliver it, and so let's say it didn't go to tender. It's been like a main contractor seek them out to deliver this part of the work, and they have this draft contract and they need some advice. So that's what I mean by in flight. So a client may come to us with a contract in flight. It's still the same process. And that's perfect because we are learning about the client as we go along. Because as we do that back and forth with the client, with the contract review, the amendments, the reports, and all that, we are also learning about the client during that process. Alternatively, a client may come to us where they don't have a contract, like a draft contract in flight. They may already be delivering on a contract and they're having issues with that delivery. Like they can't get payment on time, the changes are not being accepted, or they want to try and negotiate a supplemental agreement, which we've done quite a few of that. So they have this list of change notices that have just been accumulating, and it's now in the millions or hundreds of thousands or in the millions, and they want to try and negotiate a settlement agreement to just tie off those loose ends. A client may come to us and they just want to revamp or overhaul how they do contracting. And it may be that they realize, for example, that their contract management system is not working, or their templates might be out of date. We've had quite a few of that, especially during COVID, where we're inserting clauses about pandemic. And they may realize that the templates are out of date. Like we had a client where their offer was left valid for 6 months, and we all know during COVID how prices went up. We had to go through and amend all their standard forms, their templates to reflect current market conditions so that they weren't locked into a price that they just could not um, deliver on because the materials and labor and everything was just skyrocketing. And we still have that now where, a lot of contractors they want to leave materials out of a fixed price, for example, and labor because there's a fluctuation. So we have clients who come to us at different stages, of their contracting or construction contract um, stages of the life cycle of their contracts. And we take them through this process. And it's holistic because we are not just looking at the contract and and amending it and passing it back to them. So typically what you'll find is you may find somebody to look at the construction contract for you. They will just amend it. They may write a review. They might send you an Excel with traffic light like red, amber, green, with some comments, and they send it back to you. And the language in there is just nothing that you can understand because we speak legal. And uh, um and there's little comprehension on your side as to why things are the way they are. Or they may redline the contract or try to amend the contract, no rationale behind anything. They send it back to you, and then you may send it on to, like, if you're a subcontractor, for example, to your main contractor, and they hit the roof like, what the hell is going on here? And you're not in a position to then explain the reason behind anything. Additionally, because traditional legal service is so expensive, y- typically clients will in the traditional legal application of all of this, is clients will try to do the negotiations themselves because they can't necessarily afford to pay for the negotiation. So they get a lawyer to do the contract review and the report, and then they try to negotiate the contract themselves, but they have no or little understanding of this report, what it says, legal jargon, and so it creates more problems for them than required. Our client journey being holistic means that we are with you every step of the way, and that's why we have our business model the way we do. We are with you every step of the way. So from contract review, amendment, to negotiations, to executing your contract, we are with you every step of the way, and we are ensuring that you not only understand the contract, but you understand the rational, the reasoning behind things. You are playing a key role in determining, what we prioritize and what we do not prioritize. And so um, you are kept in the loop, and you have clarity around the process and what we are doing and how we are doing it. And so to get you from A to B, We get you from A to B, or could say A to C. We are not going to leave you at any point during that journey. And by ensuring that, we let me go back to this slide. By ensuring that we establish the starting point means that we are learning so much about you that your benchmark uh, is going to be personal to you. And by being able to set the aspiration and the purpose and bringing alignment during that stage with your overall business means that you'll be set up, that the strategy, the path that we set will be unique to you. We are not just grabbing any, contract report, any playbook and using it, trying to fit it into your organization. No, we are starting with your organization and creating something special for your organization. And that is because we have our philosophy and our framework that guides us in that process. So we're not just catching at straws trying to, come up with things off the fly. There is a process and a reasoning behind the way we do things. So I hope this was helpful for you to understand our, holistic client or customer journey and the transformation that we help our clients to experience and enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.